Hey guys, CDTVThaG here, and the G, of course, stands for good evening, my slimes and my slats. Real quick, 2 Gunna features? Is that how we're playing it, Young Thug? Today, I'm gonna be reacting to So Much Fun by Young Thug. Finally! I've been waiting so long to react to this album. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, but I've just been kind of postponing the reaction a little bit because it is one of the kind of longer albums, I guess, out of the ones I have to react to. I may be running on 3 hours of sleep, so I definitely need something that's gonna kind of perk me up, and I'm hoping that this album is that. And I'm assuming it will be. Young Thug described this album as, I'll try and find the quote real quick. All the songs are like turn up, club, radio, parade music. It ain't no storylines. It's all about fun. If you're not having fun or in a fun mood, don't even play this album. I mean, to me at least, this looks promising. I'm happy that this is what he's chosen to focus on. Just going for an album that is just pure fun all throughout, so we might as well just get into it. The only thing I'm not happy about is those 2 Gunna features. That's got me feeling a little less fun. So, track number 1, Just How It Is.
Telling you just how it is. Put it in a Uber, send it to a shooter. Ask me how they do it. Kicking shit right, you can.
Definitely starting off more mellow than I expected.
Kidnap a kangaroo. I can send a moose. Nigga stole a chain.
Kidnap a kangaroo, I could send a moose. Young Thug is an interesting character, man. I really just want to know what is going through this man's head on a regular day.
Ask the cops, ask the detectives, they know all the business. Ask the cops and the detectives, all the jurisdictions. I'm telling you just how it is.
An alright start to this one. Not a track that I was too hot on, but it was a nice little start to it. Definitely more mellow than I was expecting for something that he described as like club, radio, parade music. This one didn't necessarily give me that vibe. It was actually much more of a kind of relaxed song. Producer Weezy coming in with those chill ass guitar. Nick Mira has a production credit on this too. This man is producing for everyone now, that's crazy. Young Thug has colourful lyrics, as always, so he's never a boring rapper to listen to, but all in all, the track was just alright at best. Let's move on to the next one, track number 2. Love the title of this one. It's called Sup Mate, featuring Future. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be slightly disappointed if Young Thug doesn't rap in either an English accent or like a pirate voice on here, because that's the only 2 places I can see this title coming from. Do people say that, like, casually in America? Oh, hey man, sup mate? It doesn't sound right.
Wait, life.
Okay.
Wait, nice.
I think we're gonna get into the first banger here.
Mate, got cake, mate, got cheese, mate, got bread, mate.
Mate, let's fuck, mate. Fuck my clan, mate. Fuck shit, let's splash, mate.
Oh yeah, one time and shit,
What is happening, man? Are you okay, Future?
I crushed up, expelling her asshole. 50 round clip, got my Draco.
That was a strange one. I really couldn't kind of get a grip on that for my first listen. The beat was definitely harder. It was like the first banger style track on the project, you know, Just How It Is was more of a mellow opening, and then we go to this, which is just like a instant step up in terms of like the energy it's going for. But the beat was my favorite part of that song. Future played quite a big role on this one. I think he might have appeared more on it than Thug, and I wasn't a fan of 90% of Future's parts on here. What I did like about it was it is a pretty crazy and hectic song, which is maybe why I'm not really feeling it on my first listen. Maybe it's just a song I need to get used to, but it's very kind of free-flowing with its structure. And it is a fun track. It does have this really light-hearted energy to it. You know, Future and Young Thug are hitting these really weird, especially Future, are hitting these really weird high-pitched vocals. So it is an entertaining track. It is a fun track, but in terms of the sound, like that's not something that I'm hugely a fan of. Maybe it's just a track I need to get used to, but on my first listen, not too crazy about that one. Alright, let's move on to track number 3. I am excited about this one because when the album came out, I did see a lot of people saying that this was pretty much the best track on here. It's called Ecstasy. Now, this has been updated so that it has a Machine Gun Kelly feature on it, and I hope you guys don't mind, but I still have the version without him on my phone, and that's the version I'm gonna listen to in this video. Maybe the Machine Gun Kelly feature is on here and it's just not listing it in the track title, but I hope that isn't the case. Okay, this is what I'm wanting from Young Thug. These flows, man. I love Young Thug's unpredictable flow switches. Okay, I still have the version without MGK on my phone. I think this might be the song that has maybe hooked me in. That second verse really got me, where Young Thug started off with a bit of a faster flow. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and that's one of my favorite things about Young Thug's music. He is such a wild and energetic person usually within his music that these random flow switches can come out of nowhere. Definitely the best one on here so far. I'd say the hardest track as well. That was a banger. Definitely the first track that I really liked on this album. So let's do it. Let's move on to one of the first Gunna features on here. Track number 4, Hot, featuring Gunna. Of course it has Okay, as I was gonna say, of course it has production from Weezy. I think Gunna would crumble if the beat was produced by anyone else.
He tried to diss me and it don't false. We call them chops cause they gonna chop. Don't worry, baby, I keep
okay.
it so far. She knows and broken, she cannot decide.
Okay, I'll admit it, Gunna's doing his thing on here. The way that beat comes in is so hard. Big fan of his Cartier, apparently. God damn, the brand loyalty. Now I'm getting into it. Okay, little did I know the song with Gunna would actually be quite the highlight so far. Gunna and Weezy, they always work together. You know, Weezy produced so many tracks on Drip or Drown 2, and a lot of the time, you know, when he's producing for tracks that Gunna's on, it's always that guitar-based instrumental that Gunna is kind of known for going over. But here it had a much more triumphant sound, focused on horns. It just made everything really lively, really contrasted with Gunna's more low-key delivery somehow. It just really worked well together. Young Thug, of course, showing his loyalty to Cartier on here. This is the one, when he said parade music, that's one of the things he described this album as. This is the song I'm picturing right now when I think of that. Alright, Gunna, okay, you did good on one of your features. We still have another one to go, but this one was really nice. Track number 5, let's keep it going, man. Ecstasy, then Hot. We're on a bit of a streak here, so let's continue it. Track number 5, Light It Up.
I've been busting all type of strands. Can you get your nigga wrist on flood as I can? Light it up, light it up, light it up.
Oh yeah, you can tell from the melodies that this is a Pierre Bourne production. Cartier again. Yeah, not really a fan of this one. I honestly just think I'm not a huge fan of Pierre Bourne's production at this point. Maybe I've said that before. I remember talking about Pierre in the Lil Tecca video, but I don't know if I get my full thoughts on his production. It's unique, and you can definitely spot a Pierre Bourne beat when you hear it, and that's good, and a lot of people do like the sound. It's colourful, and it has this, you know, psychedelic edge to it. It's kind of trippy, but I don't know, the melody on here just kind of annoyed me more than anything. Let's move on to the next one, track number 6, Surf, and this is the second one, featuring Gunna. His feature on Hot was good. Maybe he's gonna have another really good one here, so let's get into it. And that's definitely another Pierre Bourne beat already. Okay, but I'm liking this one more. This one feels a bit more happy to me than the last beat. More fun. Of course, after I just talk about how much I'm not a fan of Pierre's production, I really feel the next beat he has instantly on the album. Why is Thug talking about chopping people up on such a happy beat? Chop off your penis, man. Leave it alone. This one definitely feels a bit more like a typical Gunna verse, but it's not bad. I'll take it back, Pierre. You did it. This was a good beat. This was a really good beat. What I said does still stand, don't get me wrong, but this one was really nice. Gunna wasn't too horrible on this song. It definitely sounded more typical, like I said, than his feature on Hot, but Young Thug, that was one of my favorite verses from him on the album so far. The beat was like so happy and upbeat sounding. And then Young Thug is saying stuff like, I chop up his ass, I chop up his friends, his mamas, and all his 6 kids. Whoa. Whoa, indeed, Young Thug. But Young Thug could be saying anything. As long as it sounds fun, I'm gonna be happy with it, because that's what I want from this project. And yeah, if there's one thing I can say for this project so far, it's that the tracks that I do like, I really, really like them. You know, this one, Ecstasy and Hot, they have been... they've been hard. Track number 7, Bad Bad Bad, featuring Lil Baby. Interestingly, Lil Baby doesn't feature on the next song, which is called Lil Baby.
Rose gold seat, you know, fucking helicopter, double C, but she near, cause she bad, bad, bad. Yeah, I got me to go get in a couple bitches to, yeah. You my dog, so
that was a nice flow, man.
Fuck with you like I want, cause you ready, got it warm over half of me. I can buy the building, I can rent this shit, I just save it for the children. I can rent this shit.
Young Thug is right in this one.
Different color deals on my feet, I couldn't decide. Never talked about it, she didn't make us on my side, bitch. I been sipping lean by the PTI plaza. When the street apartments, up in the paradise.
Okay, now we've reached the point in the album where the good tracks are starting to outweigh the ones that I don't like so much. This one was just another banger. I really enjoyed how this one sounded. That's the thing with the songs, like I said, the ones that I like on here, I love them. Young Thug's verse on here was great. I love his flow. He was just so smooth on that instrumental. Catchy chorus, hard beat. A feature that was fine. You know, I have no problems with Lil Baby. A little bit shaky on the album, as you could tell from the first 2 tracks and the song Light It Up. You know, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be so back and forth, but it's just getting me now. It's getting me. So, track number 8, the one that doesn't feature Lil Baby. Lil Baby.
Yeah, keep a yellow Cinderella on the tour. Baba B's on, they know we don't give it up. 9 brothers, Pluto, Savage, YB. Take off, yeah. All said here, Uzi, Lil Duke, me meal. Something in the car and then my kids make the payment. Extended pumps and FNBs like Matrix.
Some of these Rap Genius comments, man. Low-key the best song on the album. Ding dong, your opinion is wrong. It was just a fairly good song, at best in my opinion. More low-key, but you know, overall it just felt like it dragged on a little bit. Had a classic Young Thug lyrics, you know, always making us think with bars like, she put my cum in her cup like it was a shake. I think that one was just a decent song. That's all I really have to say on it. Next up, track number 9, What's the Move, featuring my boy, Lil Uzi Vert, me, the newly reformed Uzi stan. His music has grown on me a lot lately, so this is a feature that I'm actually excited about.
What the move? I'm tired of earning you. I'm tired of spying on you. Like you could never play games too. Ooh. You just gotta tell me what you want. Let me tell them keep calm. Okay? All you do is point at what you want. Drip, drip. No shit, my sneaker won't trip. LUV, know I got the swag. Pop a rubber band, pop another Zan. I groove around, party back my hand. Shit, fish for a K for the shit, for a K. Grab an AK for the rest. Put gorilla rapping bait for the beat. My diamond back ski on the beach. What's the move?
That was a nice one. Again, went for this upbeat sound to it, very similar to what I think it was Surf did. Perfect type of beat for Uzi, had this very kind of cloud rap feel to it. It was a pretty typical Lil Uzi verse, very standard from him, but his voice sounded nice amongst this beat. For Young Thug, I think I preferred what he did on the chorus to his verse here, and I definitely think it's one I'm going to listen to a fair bit. It's just not one of my absolute favourites on here. Let's move on to track number 10. I'm assuming it's talking about buying a woman something, because it's called I Bought Her, featuring Lil Duke.
Bought my bitch a bag. I bought a lot of ass. I bought my bitch a bag. I couldn't afford it. She was way better at Hooters. Oh, I gave her 40 to bring with kid who was shooter. Big Birkin bag. Rich to the get. 100 on my wrist. 100 on the neck. 100 on the clip. 100 on his head. Under my neck. I can't wait to dress. I take the BBs on my neck. The bigger they get. I came for nothing.
Okay, Lil Duke sounds hyped up on this.
Big Birkin bag.
Oh. Don't know why, it felt like the outro of that beat was harder than during the actual song. Lil Duke, I'm not familiar with his music really. I don't think I've heard a solo song of his, but he kind of came out of nowhere with just that hyped up energy, and it was kind of surprising, caught me off guard, but I liked it. He sounded hyped up and energized on this track. Overall though, it's another one that I would just say is alright. Young Thug was fine on here, but nothing that I felt was too exciting, or the word I use the most here because it's in the title of the album is how Young Thug described it. I didn't find him to be super fun on this track. Just kind of average, I'd say. So let's move on to track number 11, Jumped Out the Window. Oh my god. Yeah. Beat's gonna make my heart stop, man. Oh man, the beat on that was just unforgiving. That was just brutally hard the whole way through. My god, who produced that? Super Mario produced that. Nice stuff, man. Young Thug just breezed over it, you know, doing what he does. As I said, the lyrical content is not really what I'm focusing on, although I did quite like the line, "Yellow diamonds on me, but I'm not corny. Everywhere I go, I keep that strap like I'm horny. Can you even be mad at those bars?" That one was like a darker type of fun. I like the way the beat dropped in every time. You know, it dropped in at the start of the song and a couple of times during the verses where it hit a couple times and then it properly dropped in. It's the same kind of effect like NLE Choppa has on Choppa Flow. And I think that's a really good way to just lend some real impact to your beat. Just very quick in those couple of seconds, it builds up hype for it to really drop in. Really good stuff. Now for track number 12, I'm Scared, featuring Doe Boy and 21 Savage.
I'm scared to make a mess because I'm watched by the cops. I'm scared to count my blessings because I'm getting watched by my ups. Shot up the up block and I roll all these stoves. She let me know to her job, would've hit Rob, but she ain't have wild. 21. This ain't middle school when you sucking on me, please include the ball.
I've noticed that 21 Savage, while I did say he's improved, and I am liking him a lot more recently, on a lot of his guest verses, he seems to use the exact same flow. And he used this flow quite a lot throughout I Am Greater Than I Was as well. You know, it's that faster flow that he does. While he is getting better, and while he is more interesting to listen to, it's just a flow that I've heard like so many times from him recently, and I'm starting to notice it more and more. Okay, Doe Boy. Not familiar with Doe Boy. I've just not been a huge fan of like 3, I think, out of the 4 Pierre Bourne produced beats on this so far. Either it doesn't mesh well with Young Thug or I'm just not a fan of it generally. It's one of the two. So yeah, another song that I personally don't really care for. 21 Savage was pretty cool on it, but similar flow to a lot of his guest verses recently. And Young Thug didn't really interest me on this one. So let's move on to the next one, track number 13, Young Thug with the Cartier plug again, this time in the name of the song. It's Cartier Gucci Scarf featuring Lil Duke again.
Cartier's off for the Gucci scarf. Why the Cartier's off for the Gucci scarf? Ain't a little workout. Ayy, how about a Maybach coupe? Inside blue and the petty came blue. Ayy, I'm about to spray your boo.
Is that Young Thug? It's definitely Young Thug. It reminds me of his flow on Harambe. Lil Duke has went hard on both his features so far. Young Thug's verse on this one gave me such strong Harambe vibes from the Jeffrey project. He was doing that same delivery where he's just like rapping from his throat. He's the only person who can make that somewhat acceptable in a rap song. I don't know how he does it. Lil Duke came in with another energetic guest verse, just like the one he had on the other track he was on. I think it was I Bought Her. Young Thug's verse on this one might take a little bit of getting used to, just like the song Harambe, but I just find it entertaining now, and I think this one will be exactly the same. If anything, it was an entertaining one. Hold up, maybe it's just because I'm tired, I can't process the words right now, but on his verse he said, "I'ma take a bar, Lil Peep." I know people are gonna give Young Thug a pass for that line just because he's Young Thug. That's a weird bar, man. That's just like disrespectful. I just don't know why he dropped that reference in there. That wasn't fun, Young Thug. That wasn't fun. So, track number 14, Big Tipper featuring Lil Keed. I've only heard clips of Lil Keed songs before, but I'm pretty sure he's someone that a lot of people say sounds exactly like Young Thug. So that's Lil Keed. Okay, it doesn't actually sound like Young Thug so far. There's that like Young Thug style of delivery. To me, I felt like that was probably a little bit of a forgettable one. Not a track that really pulled me in at any point. There was quite a catchy hook on this one. But outside of that, it just felt pretty typical to me. So, let's move on to track number 15. Advertiser Unfriendly Title. I'll just put it on the screen for you guys. I can see where the song's title comes from already. That word's been said so much at that point that it just doesn't even sound like a real word anymore. Okay, I don't know, I guess it was quite a funny song, so it was enjoyable in that sense. But again, it's another one that I'm not going to go too crazy over. 15 tracks in now. This album really has been like such a mixed bag for me so far. The bangers are incredibly hard, the good tracks are great. But, I don't know, we've had quite a lot of what I've personally felt to be average songs in a row. Ever since Jumped Out the Window, nothing has hit me that hard since then. So, let's move on to track number 16, Circle of Bosses featuring Quavo.
Divide the shoes, split up the house, intrude in the west wing. She got a yante on the neck, like blue all the Hondas at the spread. Brought up the big arsenal, breathing out fire like oxygen.
So we did get that classic Weezy production on this one with a guitar-based instrumental, and this was definitely one that I was feeling a bit more than the last few tracks. Quavo was pretty nice on here. Quavo can be sort of hit or miss with guest verses. I definitely prefer him on guest verses to his own music, but he was good on here. I liked what he did. Young Thug, I thought his verses were really enjoyable, especially how both of them started with him dragging out like the last word on the first couple of lines for each verse. This was one that I did enjoy. I like this one. Track number 17, Mannequin Challenge featuring Juice WRLD. You're about a year or two, maybe 3 years too late with that title. Okay. Why is he talking about killing families so much?
I just did a weekend jail and I caught me 3 new bitches. I figured this whole while we ran. I'm about to expose you with rats. Off of the perk and the Xanax, yeah. Walking the sky like a mannequin, yeah. Double G on me like mannequin, yeah. I make a fucking day. The romantic gray, I've been calling it.
Yeah, this one's definitely better than On God. I like this one. Oh yeah. I think that was one of my favourites on this project. That was a good one. That kind of brought me back into it. It's a shame that the next track is the last one that I haven't heard, but I really, really enjoyed this one. This was definitely better than the last collaboration. It was another one of those ones that had a bit more of a upbeat sound to it with that synthy xylophone type of melody. I don't know, but it sounded really nice. I like the really fast-paced chorus that just instantly just drew you into the song. All in all, it was just pretty upbeat, kept moving forward, kept things exciting. And it was F-U-N. So, let's end it on a good note, because obviously I've heard the London, which is the last track on this. Track number 18, Boy Back, featuring my guilty pleasure, Nav. I have a reaction to Bad Habits by Nav recorded, and I just never edited it. I don't know why.
Raggedy rap racks in my nappity sack. Ever since top, I feel like the brown boy back.
Okay, he's using the tap flow.
I spent $100,000 on trees. I spent a whole nother 100 on tees. She got hair all down to her knees. Top, I feel like the brown boy back.
I can't lie. I like that flow. Greatest brown boy in the game, Navraj. Oh, we got a verse too. Nav, don't try and do Young Thug flows. I can tell, like, that hook is gonna get stuck in my head. Like, say what you want about it, but it's catchy. Yeah, that as well. That was one of my favorite songs on this one. These past two tracks have been pretty damn good. Beat was really nice. Nav had a very catchy chorus that I think is easily gonna get stuck in my head. And Young Thug was cool on it too. Thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable one, honestly. So, before we get into my final thoughts on So Much Fun, we'll go into the last track. Track number 19, The London, featuring J. Cole and Travis Scott. Boy Back would have been a nice way to close it out, but whatever, we'll go for a song that we've all already heard. And there we go. The London to close out So Much Fun. So honestly, I think that was a good little like 3-track outro sequence. Mannequin Challenge, Boy Back, and The London. Like I said, I've heard The London to death, but it's still 3 really solid tracks back to back. So let's go in to my overall thoughts about So Much Fun by Young Thug. Overall, I am leaving the album pretty happy because of how it closed out. I think if those last 3 tracks weren't as enjoyable to me as they were, I might have been a little bit more disappointed. It was a mixed bag, but at the same time, it was pretty fun. For me personally, I think I can make a good little playlist of like 10 to 12 tracks on here that I would, you know, just thoroughly enjoy, and I think it would make it stronger in my opinion, you know? And that's what I like about this. It's not a project that is strongly linked together by a concept or anything like that. It's something that I can just take what tracks I like out of it, put them in a playlist, and they're gonna flow together pretty well anyway. So let's go through my favorites and least favorites before we go a bit more into everything else. So my favorite tracks on this one were Ecstasy, Hot was a banger. Gunna actually killed it on there. Surf as well. Surf was one of my favorites and Gunna was on that too. So hey, maybe I just like Young Thug and Gunna together because I really like Three-Headed Snake as well. Bad, Jumped Out the Window, Mannequin Challenge, and Boy Back. So, you know, 7 tracks that I would say my favourite on here. I'd say that's pretty damn good. As for least favourites, these are the ones that I would definitely take out this album if I made my own playlist. Definitely Light It Up. Lil Baby, now that I think about it, I don't think I enjoyed Lil Baby all that much. Big Tipper, I am gonna say Sup Mate was one of my least favourites, but that's one that I think maybe after I get used to it will grow on me. Not 100% sure. And honestly, I'd say I'm Scared too. If I had to rate it, I don't like rating albums out of 10 the first time after I hear them, but my first impression for this one would definitely sit somewhere between, you know, like a 6 to a 7 out of 10. It's a project that has replayability to it. I'm absolutely willing to give this project a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chance, you know, all the way through. Features, for the most part, were very well selected. Like I said, Gunna performed better than expected. I liked Lil Duke, especially on, what was the first track he was on? I Bought Her. Juice WRLD, I really enjoyed him on Mannequin Challenge. And Nav had that really catchy hook on Boy Back. Feature-wise, I can't complain. Most of the production was pretty damn great throughout it. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think of So Much Fun by Young Thug. So what did you guys think about this project? Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what your favourite and least favourite tracks were. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, I'd always appreciate you leaving a like and subscribing and turning on those notifications because that is the most helpful thing. So, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next one, and this is CDTVThaG, signing out.